For all of us that are truly spiritual, let's move into the realm of the exquisite nature of our reality, contrasted to the person of the world who actually believes this is their life, their time, their circumstance, whereas we live in another star system, and the chances are that the light of the stars is in our eyes. You know what I'm saying? It's exquisite, it's delicate, it's pure, it's beautiful, it's romantic, poetic, and something that supersedes that is a word mystical. But the actual true experience of being involved with the God of eternity is so transcendent of any word, of any thought, of any experience. Yet myself being a mystical person all my life, it's 100,000 times beyond anyone's dreams or imagining. It's more than true love. True love is from that. That's a touching stone. But this experience, and this is for all of us to understand that we're going somewhere permanent with this talk today. We'll end all the clamor, all the degradation of our soul in this world, and not just for us. That's not the point at all. We all know we have a certain heartache if we're spiritual, because the world continues being the world, and all we want to do, I know this is myself, I have no other thought or drive within me than that everyone in the world that's worthy of this, that's not a complete demon, should escape the horror of it, the tumult, the degradation again of what we really are. The point I'm trying to make softly and delicately and purely is that what we experience is so transcendent. What I see, this delicate, softly lit room, the light here, there's lighting, there's my friends, it's good, it's so delicate, it's mystical. It's so beautiful, it's so exquisite. I talk about great art, great art. In these talks we have together, that it's so much more than anyone can understand. We can't relegate it to something put up on a shelf somewhere, mysticism. We want to bring it into our everyday life. As spiritual people, the only desire we have is to lift the pain and drudgery off the shoulders of all the people in the world that have a heart and soul, that are still intact with God. And the point is, with these discussions we have together, is that is what we will do. This time around, we'll end all of the madness, all the degradation, all the foolishness, all the vileness. And it all stems from one basic experience. There's a dark force behind it, but it's the thought that you are a body in a time, in a place. The material world, to me, I'm saying this to all of us who are spiritual, and that's we're discussing this together. Pardon me for using myself as an example, but the world never, never, never has been real. And I've been beaten and robbed and stolen and shot and stabbed, and believe me. And it doesn't matter. The horrors generally come from romantic relationships or others where the devil gets in between. And so I've developed, because of that, so many beautiful methods of relieving ourselves of the trauma of living in this place as a spiritual being. And it's not just for ourselves. We're impinged upon by the horrors of this world. As a volunteer service to God, we're missionaries from heaven, so that we experience what everyone else experiences, because God and the angels are so endlessly more pure than words or thoughts or even experiences. Even your mystical experiences, when you're having them, which you will have every day of your life, which you have had every day of your life, and yet for 23 hours or 9 minutes or 12 hours every day, we're impinged upon with this demonic force that makes us think our body, our life, our time, our work, our friends are real. And there's different relationships we have. There are not two separate bodies spiritually. So if you're a mystic like myself, I experience the heavens all day, and I experience the horrors of everyday life in this world all day, but I always, 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 always recognize it as coming from this one singular force that we can call the demonic realm, Satan, whatever. It doesn't matter. I say that lightly just for you, because no matter what comes at you, you sit quietly in your contemplative mode that I live in 24 hours a day, and I can't tell anyone. I can tell the spiritual people, sure. And for the rest of it, we just have to relinquish our own dignity and try to work with everyone around us in our work life, in our family life, in certain relationships. But the true beauty of our life is that we're born as mystical beings in this place. It's a volunteer mission, and we're here to transfer what we have to all the pure people of the world and lift them beyond this forever. Doesn't matter about what you think about the world or the lifetimes. Forget all that. That's thoughtless meanderings in some circular hell. Be quiet. Learn to trust your soul as a contemplative presence. You're always in contemplation of the divine. You're always aware of the divine. And from that place, we do the one thing we're born to do, which is to transmit this feeling, is to be teachers, healers, helpers, in a mystical sense. And the more clear we are on that, the more under the attacks of the demonic forces, and just thinking the world is real in any sense is that's a demonic force. That's this pressure, and it's only in this infinitesimal subatomic particle, a trillion, billion, skrillion times more singularly empty than that. It's nothingness, this world. When you experience, let's say what I experience right this moment, it's this beautiful mystical sense. Like I started with, the chances are that the stars in your eyes are the stars in the sky. It's all within you, the beauty, not within your body or your brain. It's like sitting quietly next to your baby, that's sleeping. You're just there. There's no other thought, right? Imagine sitting quietly before our Father, our Heavenly Father, and our friend, and ourself and our soul. God identifies with us absolutely when we're in this place. There are not two separate bodies or places or times. There's only the dignity of this contemplative sense that we move through this world. Not above the surface of the earth. I don't see the earth. I never did. It's hard to explain, but all of us that understand this, understand this. And the rest of it is this dark force that gets between people. So again, we have to find out ways we know that God is real to lift our friends and loved ones out of the fires of disbelief and faithlessness. That's our job. We're teachers, healers, helpers, friends, we're family. To the souls that are thus gone, and equally with those in the world who are in touch with their souls. We're helping them lift beyond this sense of the world being real, and that's what you have a certain confront on it. You just quietly are aware. I'm aware of the dark force all day hitting me in 10,000 ways. It can be a car all of a sudden shoots in head, but I feel the energy change, and so I just drop into my stance. I can't react to it because I got 6 other things to do in the next 20 minutes. And you'll learn to do these things. You'll learn methods on your own, so you confront it. In other words, you softly, if I'm dealing with someone that has, that psychologically, that's in a lot of pain or trauma, or even physically, if I'm at my place or run into them in public, I just drop into my contemplative sense, and I'm just aware of them and letting them know they have a friend that's with them where they are, and not reacting to it, so they can express whatever's going on, and you just acknowledge it without reacting to it at all. I've done this for years. There are many ways of doing that. You facilitate someone's healing themselves by being there present. You set up a safety zone through them and around them of divine presence. And then beyond that, for today, is your heart and soul healing the whole world. So let's do that together. Just be aware of the entire world, starting with your loved ones, the special ones in your life, and everything that you hold dear. And know they are as one with us, one beauteous presence, one softly lit, early morning, sunlit field. We're just there. We're contemplatives. That doesn't mean we're hidden off somewhere. It means we're quietly disappear in our body and become eternity. And when we become that, graciously God himself looks out from our eyes and becomes our self, our soul. We're not a body in a time or a place. We never were. We gave heaven up to be here, to help, to care. And we're doing it in this one time here. Doesn't matter if we remember 12 lifetimes or 3 or not. The world itself, the materiality of the world, is the illusion, and it's set up by one little demonic force, and I don't even want to give it that, because this is our time to understand that if we sit in this place, sit, stand, whatever, you can jump or cheer or be anywhere, but I never, 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 never lose this. And of course, there's a lot of grieving involved for people around me that I love, or circumstances that are so egregious to the heart and soul, but I'll be with them to help them walk through it. And at times to help me see what it is, so I figure a better mode of operation to lift them. Because that's all I'll ever do, is lift, care and love. And again, at some point you'll feel our Heavenly Father experiencing this directly with us, through us, of us. And God actually, excuse me, and God actually gives himself to us in this and becomes us. It's hard for me to use the words. I was up all night with it, didn't sleep, because he wants me to be him. I want you, to be him, to be me, as we lift our friends and loved ones. Sri Aurobindo's wife in Pondicherry in India a long, long time ago said, "Won't you help?" In other words, all of her mystical friends, spiritual friends. It's not, they didn't have an order of this is the way they do. He was the greatest author of, the spiritual books. He was a great yogi. The point was, it wasn't a teaching, it was a surrendering to the light and allowing that light to quietly shine to this whole world that it is no more. And that's what is missed in a lot of the Western traditions of not seeing the eternity of the mystical religions. Does that make sense? And that's what we're talking about. And the most mystical thought of all is that God wants to be us because we're from that light, from that beauty. But there are heavens and heavens and heavens. Remember, Jesus Christ in the scripture said that if you don't hate your own life for my name's sake, you're not worthy of me. In other words, there are worldly people and spiritual people. And the worldly people are the people who are part of Satan and will be forever, of this lost thing. But in mysticism, we lose all that. We let go of all that. We just care, we just help, we just fix, we just uplift. We're there. We're still human in every regard. But we learn to get very quiet and ride through any storm. And yes, every day horrors occur, but I am so, excuse me for saying, so utterly aware of the transference of the energies of the dark side trying to get me off in this way or that way, or certainly the last 3 years, unimaginable physical problems. And they're gone right now. But I had to live with them because that circumstance on me was the way it was. But every moment of that, I flew higher, achieved more, understood more greatly, grounded myself more fully. Like I say, that contemplative sense is that stallion, that steed is under us that wants to do what we go where we want and be what we are. And the saddle we sit on is being a contemplative, a mystic. We are the pure light from yonder sun. Won't you help? You'll overcome every atom of pain, of fear, of degradation, of believing for a moment that there's a solid material world. That's our mission. The chances are that stars in the sky are in our eyes. In other words, all the beauty is already here. It's what we already feel, but through that aperture called birth, we accept all the traumas of the world, all the hate and the anger and the thievery and the murder and the rapacious nature of many people that's set up by this thing, singular force, this person we can call Satan, that I'll look at it right now. Just, it's a nothingness. And when some group of us together understand this, it'll be all over. It's not a big deal. Don't get caught up in history or time or circumstance or anthropology or theology or any of it. There's you as a divine presence in the one singular hell in eternity. I'm not taking away from the trauma of it and the horror of it, but I'm saying that when you understand 100% what's being said, to breathe freely and fully for the rest of his life and the things that seem solid and real. There's only your heart. Your heart is God's heart. You will fulfill a divine mission. You'll end all the misery and all the pain and all the horrors and all the illness through somehow finding the confront to help your friends and loved ones and everyone around you through your teaching that they are not their body in a time or a place. You are the light of ages. Look nowhere else. And all that's formed in your conditioned responses to this world, no matter what they are, no matter how subtle or gross, if you reside in this heavenly purity, know that everything beautiful is already in your eyes and in your heart and in your soul, which is God. When we know that fully, we'll end it for our friends and loved ones. We are teachers, healers, with a family of saints forever. You will fulfill the most magnificent mission by giving this world and all of its horrors nothing. It's all in our ability to concentrate on the mystical openness of eternity. You are God's answer to everything. It's in perception, in consciousness, and quietly fulfilling this need of all the decent people in the world to be helped, healed, instructed, and given our self and our soul. We are a divine mission. We will succeed together. It's over for the dark force because you understand, because you care, because you love, because you give, because you endure. In handling the dark forces, it takes a lot of guts, a lot of fortitude, a lot of emotional security. You must be in a contemplative mood 24 hours a day for the rest of your life. And this is not said as an order, this is as an inspiration within ourselves to stay here, because the dark force hits us 24 hours a day, every day, all of our life, to make us believe we are this body in this life at this time. There are no material bodies, no individuated lifetimes, and time is the outlaw of the universe of good. This is all about spiritual consciousness. When you get there, when you're able to be secure in a contemplative mode all day, through whatever spiritual practices you enjoy or find worthy of your presence, then from that place you'll develop many, many methods of healing, of helping, of lifting, of redirecting, of teaching, instructing, embracing those we love and care for in the world, and walking fearlessly through this hellscape. To the mystic, the world never was. I'm going to use myself as an example for all of us who are spiritual, and that's how we're communicating together. This world never is to me in my concentration, in my awareness. It doesn't exist. The solid forms or times or place or names, or I love people, I care, but that's not who I see. I see 1,000 times more delicately through everyone. Look at my buddy Greg now. I only see his soul, I don't see my buddy. It's just a presence. And it's eternity. And my whole job in life, and your whole job in life, is to find methods and means to help our friends and loved ones rise to the occasion and understand mystically, no matter what happens in their life, and the more mystical you are, the more this dark force will converge on us, but the more we understand it, the more contemplative we are. The easier we are with all consciousness, no matter what it is, under any strain or anything. The more the mission that we are embarking upon to end all the madness in the world forever in this life, that'll be our last life. There is no life, actually. Forget all the text and all the books and everything and all the subject matter. There is none. There's only this contemplative place in our heart and soul. And we'll battle very, very, very dark beings. We'll have great warfare. And it's in consciousness. You know, all the times the door slams, or this happened, or that happens. So anywhere there's a certain energy with it that makes the world seem real, or a sense of fear, that's the dark force, whether it's very subtle in your thought at night, very rough, or something that seems right and you're walking into a trap. No matter what it is, how subtle or how harsh it is, it's always the same thing. It's not created of God. It only exists in this one infantile realm of existence where this thing called Satan controls everything and makes everything seem separate. The idea of fear, there's no fear in love, in God and consciousness. There's an infinite realm of purity of presence. And we identify with that. We'll develop means and methods to not react to the dark thing at all. And then God himself will speak through us. Because we're here to teach, to help, to heal, right? Because we know God is real. So from this place, There's nothing we cannot do of a spiritual nature. It's all in consciousness, in kindness. It's a warm heart, a helping hand, and a decency that people of the world will never know, because they're the illusion. And if you're a mystic, the wonder, the divine presence is with us always, and so these words are not hard to understand. Yes, I lost my couple family members, several in the last 6-8 months. I have best friends, whatever. It's not it. They're with me now, and I have to allow them through the process, and it doesn't matter where, when, or how. And you can't explain to other people why you were at such and such a funeral. You have to be, I'm explaining some of the rough things, or be with my dear friend, or whatever. You have to, this thing is very powerful, because the end result is you're going to overcome the whole world for everyone you love forever. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't it worth it? What's more meaningful? $1,000 or 1,000 souls? And you'll heal 8 billion souls with this wisdom. Because there are no real individuated souls in a sense. Because once you're transcendent of this world through spirituality, this world is 100 trillion times less than anyone thinks it is. I'm here as a volunteer, as you are, and I'm aware of heaven also, but it's so subtle, so unimaginably subtle, the purity and beauty of it, and dignity. Subtle not in a weakness, but it's part of eternity and forever. And when you're here, the idea of anything in the world, and I talk about great art, or great love, and that's the beginning of this, but when you're transcendent of all of it, then you'll know, as I know now, that this is all over. For the dark force, Satan, whatever you want to call it, it's absurd. Satan fears one righteous person more than 1,000 blind believers. In other words, when you're very quiet, you don't give it anything, you'll fight very worthy adversaries in a dark sense, very evil, because it gets very subtle or very rough or very gross, and that's okay. That's why you're here. You gave up divinity. You gave up divinity, being part of God forever, to be in this one infinitesimal hell in eternity. If you're spiritual, these words make sense. There is nothing physical, nothing separate. There is no fear, no pain, no trauma. Time does not exist. And you will bring that understanding forward to your heart and soul, and gifting it to everyone you love and care for. And that will heal all wounds forever. These are not just words. I have to explain all the different sides of it like an equation, because without all of it, people don't understand. Or I had a couple comments about this, or what about my grief? Or first of all, where's your dignity to mention your grief publicly? Just reside quietly. This is for the spiritual soul. No one grieves more than the mystic. For 8 billion souls trapped in this madness. And I know that I will free them all who want to be free. And the rest is part of the dark force, and that's the imagery that keeps it intact, like it's really here and it's not. And to the mystic, to the spiritually inclined, to those with a heart and soul that cares, these words are everything. And the mission will be fulfilled through us. The ways and means will come to you around the clock, as they have been coming, and you'll see that everything relates to everything. And in every instant of your life, I'm saying this as a mystic, I can see God seeing 8,000 more delicate ways of moving through it. I mean that with all my heart and all my soul. God is God. We are God's presence in this hell for a singular purpose at a singular time. It's the most momentous time. We have it within our grasp to free every single human being, every fish in the sea, every bird in the sky, through wisdom, understanding, compassion, in a divine, mystical sense. This does not have to be. God will be with you every moment, every millisecond. And we're breaking up all the imagery, and we'll walk through it. We'll open up and open up and open up. It will be different 24 hours a day, every day, but God is with us, and we are God's presence in the world. We are heroic presences to that which we call God. You are a magnificent, magnificent soul. The devil's been working on you from before birth. And you gave yourself to this cause. You're hanging on a cross for those you love. God bless you. You know how beautiful you are, how good, how true, or powerful you are. God will be with you every moment. Not just to help you walk out of it, but to understand through what you've gone through, all of this differently. We'll have ways and means from that and gifts because of that to understand those in pain in the world, and that's why we're here. And we are the teacher, the healer. We'll lift all the decent people in the world to this heavenly plateau of eternal purity and kindness and love. We're on the other side, and all the misunderstandings. There's no pain, there's no fear, there's nothing solid, there's nothing separate. There's this mystically imbued atmosphere. And we'll ride into eternity for it. I could see everything in the universe now if I choose to. I'm saying this for us, for this teaching, because this is for all of us to understand this, not about this individual. It's so grand and wonderful, and every day I run into someone spiritual, no matter who or whatever, in the streets or around it. It's just so wonderful. We have that little touching meeting, and there's nothing beyond that to do or say. We're simply here. Those relationships we've had in our life, and we'll have many more now. The dark force will work more ardently against us, and that makes me happy because I understand it. I don't react to it. I don't give myself to it. I don't fall into the traps. I don't want you to. You don't want me to. We don't want our friends and loved ones to. And I'm saying no matter what anyone is going through in this world, we'll have a way of healing, of lifting, of living beyond it. And this will be gone in a few short years. You are the most powerful person you've ever known. You are the teacher. Nothing weak about mysticism. In other words, you're stronger than any perception. Can you imagine that? When the word mystic is used, I mean you're stronger, more powerful, you're eternal, you're forever. And everything of this world is not negligible, it doesn't even exist to you. But you allow all of it to batter you throughout this life so that you can understand it, because that's what compassion is, and you can help everyone and anyone that's afflicted because you care. You gave yourself to it. And then my buddy here, we used to have some horrible things, even though he's the biggest, toughest guy in the world. I'm saying this because, and I would say, give me your pain. Give me your pain. God will be with us every moment. God has been with us every moment. We are God's presence in this hell. We'll lift our friends and loved ones through wisdom, staying deep in this compassionate place. We'll have a quiet awareness of everything, and through it, the mysticism of eternity. We'll be freed within our heart, and we'll free hundreds, thousands, millions, 8 billion of hearts through residing deeply in this place. It's not such a big deal. The big deal is being you. You've lived through this voluntarily, for God's sake, out of love and compassion, through this aperture called birth. But we're not a physical body, but we allow everything that the world is to afflict us. I know I experience it all day, a lot, but I know that what is real and what's not. So I gain momentum every day, more and more, to help, to heal, and you will, and you do, and you have, and you are. As hard as this is to say, you are God's presence. But you must be that, and it requires a humility beyond thought, beyond perception. But you are that. And understanding that, you become the mystic that you are. And you've already achieved more greatness than any heroes of history in this world by understanding that quiet sense of wisdom that you are God's presence. And you don't react to the absurdity of this world, and from that, God can directly heal everything and everyone around you. And we'll fold this whole thing up like an old moth-bitten blanket and place it up in a closet somewhere, and if it wants to reside in hell, it will. We'll heal everything and everyone that wishes such. And as for the dark little thing in the middle of it, we're made of a kind of steel that will shut it up forever after finding our loved ones out there and making sure our family is secure in a spiritual sense. Not about being there physically, it's about this transference of divine wisdom through us, and then we'll lift the thousands or millions of others that wish such a thing at such time. God will be with us every moment. God is every moment. You are God's hero. You will end all the madness through your perception, your understanding, your compassion, your decency, your intelligence, your mystical outlook on life, knowing that only God is real. And only the mystic can understand that. And as to the rest, if they want to believe in their treasure chest is in this world, then we can let them go forever. Like a little helium balloon, they'll go off. The battle is in compassion, consciousness, awareness, decency, groundedness, morality, whatever you want to call it. But most of all, it's in you. The greatest wishes of your heart are fulfilled through this, knowing that you're God's hero. You're here to fold it all up forever. God bless you every moment. God will be with you every moment, with us. We're nothing, of course. And God is everything, and that's the wisdom of eternity. It's not in gold or diamonds or love or things or not things. It's in here, isn't it? Isn't it you? Thank you for listening. Thank you, Mr. Skolton.